Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films with another review. This time around we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah, hopefully this is going to be a bit of a short video. I don't think there's a whole lot I can say, but pretty much every time I say, oh, well, there's probably not much I can say, I end up talking for a long time, but we're going to try not to do that. This is a spoiler review of Ant-Man and the Wasp, just so you know. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. Short review is, it's really, really good. In terms of the long review, well, let's get right into that. The first thing to talk about is pretty much the fallout from Civil War. Scott is under house arrest and is pretty close to, he's like a couple days away from just being put on probation instead of house arrest. And in terms of other fallout from Civil War, pretty much Scott going to Germany and fighting with Captain America really put him on bad terms with Hank and Hope. So they really haven't talked in years, which is interesting, but they kind of get back together and eventually, obviously, they reconcile their differences. The major point of this movie is to save Janet, basically. Janet Van Dyne, who in the first movie we learned went subatomic, and Scott also went subatomic in the climax of the film and came back from it. So the thinking is that they can go subatomic, find Janet, and bring her back. So that's really cool, really interesting, but we have some issues here with our sort of villains. Ghost, who basically she's very like quantumly screwed up, where basically she keeps phasing through objects and like it is causing her so much pain, and she is getting help from Bill Foster, played by Lawrence Fishburne, and the two of them are trying to figure out how they can take all the quantum energy from Janet and use it to repair Ghost, which is really interesting. And these are interesting characters. I can't go so far to say that they're villains. Because they're not evil, really. You know, like, okay, think about like the first Ant-Man movie. It's like, it's clear that Darren Cross is a bad guy. Like, he's a son of a gun and just a dick, and yeah. But Ghost and Foster really aren't, and I like that. They're really just doing this because they want to try to save Ghost. But unfortunately, all of this, years and years of pain and being able to phase through objects, Ghost is finally, at her wit's end with everything. And so she is willing to go the extra step and possibly kill Janet to save herself. So they were really interesting. They had a great amount of comedic scenes, and a great use of her powers, I thought. If there's one thing that these Ant-Man movies are good at, excuse me, if there's one thing these Ant-Man movies are really good at, it's using their powers well. Which I was going to talk about this a bit later, but screw it, we're going to talk about it now. I really love the action scenes in this. Everything is just very fast-paced, and everything is very thought out. It's very well thought out, basically. There's a lot of moments where, within the span of 5 seconds, Ant-Man or Wasp shrink and grow like 20 times. So it's really good, really great action scenes, and adding on top of it Ghost powers of being able to phase through things, it's very interesting. And I'm glad it's not just another equal power base, basically, because we've had that a lot in Marvel movies like Ironmonger, Killmonger, and Yellow Jacket in the last Ant-Man film. Like, they had the same abilities and they're fighting each other, but that's not the case with Ghost. Ghost has completely different powers from both Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I really like that. So that's really good. Great action scenes, lots of shrinking, lots of phasing through objects. It's a whole lot of fun. We have sort of a secondary villain who's honestly a bit more of a villain than Ghost and Foster. Sonny Birch. This guy's a lot of fun. He's a very, how would I put this? He's a very, I kind of want to just say, like, he's just a cartoon gangster, but portrayed very well. Like, I don't know, it's very, like, there's not a whole lot of depth to him. He's just kind of a gangster that's trying to get this PIM tech so that he can sell it to the highest bidder. Oi. Sorry. 1 second. Thought my nose was bleeding for a second. I'm about to turn into 11 over here. Sorry. You ever get that feeling when just like something goes on your nose and you're like, am I bleeding? And you just kind of wait. Whatever. Ant-Man. Sonny Birch, he's funny. Him and his gang are really funny. We have this running gag with a truth serum that's really funny, and yeah, kind of what I can say about the whole movie is it's just very funny and really, really good, and I really love this movie. Yeah, I feel like, speaking of gangs, Scott's gang, basically, the ex-cons, the three of them, I feel like they really, like, stepped up in this movie a little bit. Like, in the last movie, it's like they were there and they were, the comic relief and everything, which was, all fine and good. And now, it's like, their roles haven't really escalated a bit. They're still pretty much the same comic relief they were in the last movie, but I feel like they get a bit more, maybe they get a little bit more screen time and a few more jokes, and they pretty much all land. And yeah, they're really fun. And pretty much everyone is really fun in this, especially Paul Rudd, who plays Ant-Man, and like especially when he goes back and forth between being Scott and kind of being like possessed by Janet, which is really cool. Like, he really does sell it, and yeah, everyone in this is amazing, and yeah, it's hard to, I'm like stumbling over my words a little bit. It's like, there's only so many ways I can say that this is just a great movie. In terms of sort of the ending, a couple things to touch on that. They do get back Janet, and she uses her new quantum powers to help Ghost, but it's not like permanent, so they're gonna go and get more quantum energy and bring it back to her. So that was interesting. Yeah, not exactly sure how she has those powers, or how she knows how to use them, or where she got, that cloth to make a hood in the quantum realm, but whatever. So that was interesting. And then the after credits scene, and again, obviously we've been talking spoilers, but just in case, the end credits scene where Scott goes subatomic so that they can collect quantum energy for Ghost, and then no one's pulling him back out. No, they're not making him bigger. And he's like, guys, are you out there? And it cuts back. Hank, Hope, and Janet, gone. They are dust because Thanos. That was just one of those things where I just didn't even think about it, because I knew this took place before Infinity War. But man, like, because when it happened, like, he shrunk down, and I was just watching it and didn't think anything of it, and he got the energy, and he was like, all right, guys, bring me back up. And then I waited, and there was no response, and he was like, all right, very funny, guys, come on, bring me back up. And I was like, oh, is it Infinity War? And then it cut back, and they're just dust, and I was like, that's unfortunate. It's like, apparently, I don't know, there were some people that were like shocked. They were like, oh my gosh, I didn't even see that coming. And I was like, well, I guess I didn't, but I'm not that shocked. It's like, I was just sitting there like, damn it. Freaking Thanos, I forgot about him and his crap. So, yeah. It was a good ending, and then the last the second post-credit scene, not worth it at all. Like, it's just the ant playing drums. Not worth it. I was hoping there would at least be a joke like the ant is playing drums and then like Lewis comes in and he's like, "What the hell? Everyone's turned to dust." Like, I thought that'd be funny, like he's one of the only survivors. And then he could be in Avengers, man. That would be so cool if like Lewis goes to the Avengers to get them to help, and then they bring Scott out of the quantum zone. The quantum being subatomic. That's how I should say that. Because, I mean, I assume they're going to have to, like the rest of the Avengers, they're going to go find Scott. Because Scott survived. Scott survived Thanos maybe by being in the quantum realm, or maybe he just got lucky he wasn't part of the half of the universe that died. But yeah, really interesting. Really love this movie, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to go in depth on this movie, and honestly, I don't really think I need to go in depth on this movie. It was just really good, really great follow-up, and you know what? I would love an Ant-Man 3. Or would it be Ant-Man and the Wasp 2? Or would it be, maybe it's like Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then like have a subtitle? I don't know. Make a third one, because these were really good, and I love these movies. Yeah, that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Marvel videos, I've got the playlist down here. I've got some other videos you can check out all over here. The subscribe button is also there if you haven't done that already. And you can follow me on social media, links below in the description. Thanks again.